Good afternoon and welcome to Nasdaq Trade Talks. I'm your host Jill Malandrino, Global Markets Reporter at Nasdaq. Joining me at the market site in Times Square, we have Lou Stansky and Ripple Vias. They are both with Avnet, and we're going to focus on the Internet of Things and getting ready for your business to make the transition. Thank you both so much for joining us at Market Site. It's great to have you here with us. And the key question is, why are so many companies starting to adopt IoT?
Well, to answer that question, I think I have to first say that we believe IoT is not about technology. It's about business reinvention. You know, technology is an enabler, IoT technology is an enabler for business reinvention. So what's happened over time is electronics have gotten more and more efficient, more cost effective, lower power, higher performance, and that's enabling a whole lot of things. In the past, when businesses had great ideas for business transformation, technology was always a limiter, but today I'm proud to say that technology is no longer the limiter, it's the imagination. What kind of business case can you generate? To prove a point, you can take a look at car sharing services. So car sharing services, people don't use car sharing services because it's neat technology, because there's GPS involved, because there's things in the cloud. They use it because it's on-demand transportation that's predictable, cheap, and easily transacted. So they get out of the car, in addition to having a wonderfully efficient ride, they've also got a pleasant experience. And that's really what's changed that market. As an example, you know, when you don't do those things, when you change the model and you don't get those things, it becomes a real problem for consumers. Recently in Germany, I was in a position where I couldn't use ride-sharing services. I walked out of a restaurant, realized it was in a remote part of town, didn't speak German, couldn't ask for a cab, and it was very, very inconvenient to get back to my hotel. So once you enable businesses to transform and become competitive, it changes your whole experience, and consumers they expect that level of service in the future. All
right, well, I mean, clearly there's a big opportunity here, but companies seem to get stuck with the integration into legacy platforms. Why do you think that's happening?
I think that's happening because they don't spend enough time or any time on the business case, trying to transform their business. Really, the business case is the blueprint for the IoT implementation. Without a blueprint, you're nowhere. So imagine you're building a house. Without a blueprint, you just throw a bunch of guys on somebody's lawn, give them some plywood, some hammers, and expect them to build a house. And your outcome is usually not very good, and that's why it's not real practical. So without a business plan, there's nothing. Ripple?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I agree with Lou. What I think, there are three things which is really important for a project to be successful, right? A blueprint, as Lou mentioned. You need connected technologies, and then most important is insights, right? So without a clear use case or without a clear blueprint, you won't be able to get your IoT project to be a successful project, right? The second thing that I talked about, connected technologies, we have seen many companies are getting stuck in that area. To complete an IoT project, it takes about 10 to 15 different partners, right? And it's really hard to put this ecosystem together and implement an IoT project. And even though when the companies does integrate or build the use cases or implement their IoT journey, the third and the most important value that comes in form of the intelligence is what they miss, right? IoT is not just about connecting your devices and getting the data from that. It's all about what are you going to do with this data. Are you going to ingest this data and integrate with the other data sets that you already have it, run machine learning algorithms on top of it, and create further intelligence? That is what is the most valuable thing in an IoT project.
It seems like the key word when it comes to newer technologies like AI and machine learning is the ecosystem, and I think that is so key. So Lou, let me throw it back to you. What's the value that IoT and AI can deliver together?
Well, AI is actually essential in an IoT implementation. If you think about what people have been talking about for the last 5 years in IoT, it's the ability to deliver insights, actionable insights. And in fact, all IoT information is data that is on a dashboard. You've got to apply AI to that data, or you don't get the actionable insights, which is the whole purpose for doing IoT in the first place.
All right, and Ripple, I would imagine overcoming those hurdles that Lou had suggested.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, what we have seen is IoT will help you generate insights that will help you create the actions or do actions, right? But what AI really does is put that actions into an overdrive, right? So you can see that people are moving from connected devices to cloud to intelligence, right? And we are seeing right now that everybody is going towards predictive maintenance side of the business, right? And then we have, it's also like connecting other technologies, right? We have seen people who are connecting the IoT and AI with technologies such as mixed reality, right? And in mixed reality, like for example, elevator, if you take that as an example, it's a complex system, right? But with mixed reality, we have seen like service technicians having the HoloLens and or other mixed reality glasses available. Now they are able to look at the elevators, they are able to see exactly which parts are reaching the threshold, how it can be repaired, and they will be able to do a remote diagnostics using the service engineers. That's the power of IoT, AI, and other technologies putting together.
All right, and Lou, I'm going to throw it back to you. So really, what's the best way to ensure that your IoT solution actually makes it to the finish line?
So the first thing, we've talked already about the business case. Without the blueprint and the business case, there's no sense in doing an IoT implementation in the first place. The second thing is IoT implementation is very difficult. Not that the technologies in themselves are difficult, but stitching all of those together across so many different disciplines. Somebody that understands devices doesn't understand writing applications, cloud, connectivity. So my advice to get across the finish line is pick a partner or a minimal number of partners that you need to get that done, because there's a lot of interface that goes with every step. So reducing the number of chains in the link, if you will, reduces the overall risk. And then the other last thing is, once you get the business case, once you get the implementation and it's solid, don't forget that you're transforming a business and that you need change management. You can do the first two things correctly, but change management is a big part of it. And if people don't feel connected and they don't understand why it's happening and they're not participating, you're going to be failing.
It's all about the execution for sure.
It's all about the execution.
What's the one thing that leaders need to do to be successful before you dive into IoT?
I think, as I previously mentioned, it's really important to understand what your business case is and what is the value that your business case is going to generate, right? As Lou mentioned, create the right or select the right kind of partners who is going to help you derive this business case. And then once the data has been generated, right, what are you going to do it? How you're going to take this data and then connect it with your other silo systems and then create some outcomes which is going to help their customers, which is going to help them increase their market share and so on.
Yeah, I would also add that what business leaders need to understand is technology is going to continue to go down in price, up in performance. So the barriers of entry are getting lower and lower. You can attach and gain data from more and more devices. The important thing is that it's an incredible opportunity to create wealth and value for stockholders by creating new business models using that technology. The downside is, if you don't do so, you could be a victim of disruption if other people do that. The barrier of entries of changing industries have just been lowered.
Well, it'll be interesting to see how this conversation certainly evolves throughout the years. Lou, Ripple, thank you so much for joining me at MarketSite.
Thank you, Jill.
You're welcome. And thank you for joining me for Trade Talks. I'm Jill Malandrino, Global Markets Reporter at Nasdaq.